Welcome to NWA Power episode 30, 3 days after When Shadows Fall. We got a lot out of this 1 hour show. There was a lot here. I'm sure many people are going to like it. Some people will not. And some people are going to go, That's the best way to say it. Now, we open with Camille getting interviewed by Joe Gilliam. And he was not happy. This is almost all about Joe being pissed off because of what happened When Shadows Fall. Because he did try to make it very clear he was proud of Camille. He was telling her, I am so proud of you. You said you're going to do it in your first try, and you did it. You have nothing to be ashamed of. You have everything to be proud of. But what do you think happened at the show? Kind of went there. And that was when she called out her man, the Latimer. Tommy was not happy about Joe. Joe was not happy about Tommy. And that's when that comment came up. And it was all about that comment. It was not about Camille and her winning her title, even though once Nick came out along with once Chris Adonis and Nick came out, and they're trying to make it very clear, this is about Camille, but really isn't, because they were taking a little bit of the shine away, a little bit. But they made it very clear from the interview. We are going to get whatever we want. Since Chris Adonis had been stripped of the title because he didn't show up, they're going to now have a tournament to see who's going to be the next national champion. I don't remember who was going to be in the first round. I don't remember right now, but it doesn't really matter. They're having a first round for now the vacant national title, which is fine. It's good to see something like that. If you screw up, you get stripped of the damn thing, unlike WWE where they never do it right. So I am very happy that it happened. And it was made very clear that when Strictly Business wants something, they're going to get it. If it's going to be one of these two men, it's going to be either Latimer or Adonis getting that national title, it don't matter. One of them is going to get it. And if they're in the mood, they go after the tag titles. No problem. And Chris made it very clear. Look, we are Strictly Business. As long as it's in the family, as long as it's in Strictly Business, it doesn't matter who has it. And they made it very clear. But Joe was just pissed as hell at what Nick did, nailing King in the back, the referee, and showing that he does not deserve anything. That Camille, and he's trying to put over Camille. He's making it very clear, Joe Gilliam, that Camille should be praised for all the hard work she put in, that she proved that she's a true champion. You're not. And the crowd didn't like him because of it. And it was Tim Storm that had to come out and tell Joe, stop. You've been talked by Billy. Go. I'll take over, which he did, and that's what happened with the rest of the interview. Now, I enjoyed this because it was different. It was unpredictable. You got a commentator / interviewer who legitimately was pissed off at something that happened. You don't hear that from WWE. They don't generally have their interviewers interact like that. Not anymore anyway. Because rarely they ever do it, they always overdo it and make it look really like garbage in some cases. Admittedly, it was kind of funny seeing that the King dealing with Michael Cole at one point years ago when the Hager at the time, Jack Swagger, was around. That was one of the few interactions you got with commentators. Very few. But here it feels more natural. Joe feels really pissed, and he has the right to be pissed because he was calling a show a match that should have been special for a Trevor Murdoch, and it wasn't. Now, let's go to Trevor. I'm jumping around. Trevor has his, when he was talking with May, he made it very clear, I don't know where I am. I'm lost. I'm just drifting. I don't know what to do. I gave my best at the pay-per-view. I've always been screwed one time or another. But here, I thought when it came to NWA, I was going to finally get something special, something tangible, something that makes me feel like I am alive. He makes it very clear he's not really a great actor or great promoist. But he got his point across. He gave his best as a face. And he thought he would finally get what he's earned. And he gets screwed. He doesn't know what to do. Now the question is going to be, is he going to go from being here and dropping like a stone here? My guess is yes, but I don't know where they're going to go with him. Maybe he may be a mentor to somebody else. Or he may still rise back up and try to get it at the next pay-per-view. You never know. But let's move on. Now, the first match, the Pope versus Luke Hawx. If I'm pronouncing it right. For the television title, 6 minutes and 5 seconds. I wish it would make it 10, but since they're restrained to an hour, 6 minutes, 5 seconds is all they got. Was it a good match? Yeah. I enjoyed it. It was fine. But the question's going to be, you got Pope at number 5 now, and he won. Who's number 6? Who's number 7? And will they spotlight the Pope? Will they truly spotlight the Pope going against the national treasure, Nick Aldis? This is what I've been waiting for, baby. I want to see the Pope go against Nick Aldis. Now, of course, there's no guarantee he's going to win. I don't expect the Pope to win. But it's not the point if the Pope wins. It's the point if they give us a good story. And that's what I'm hoping for. Now, a masked man comes out. I don't recognize him. His voice, I don't recognize the voice. His physique, I don't recognize. He could be somebody that could have been from NXT. Since I don't watch the product, he could have been one of the people from the Forgotten Sons. You never know. I don't know. But this guy comes out with a mask on, says, I am here. I am here because I was asked to be here. I was hired by Billy himself. And May, as well as, who was there? Joe was there? May and Joe Gallant. No, May and, I don't think it was Joe. It was Dave. I think it was Dave. Kyle Davis. They're saying, so Corgan hired you directly? So who are you? What's your name? He says, I don't have to say anything. I don't have to tell you who I am under this mask. There's an agreement that I don't have to say a damn thing of who I am. Only Billy knows. And no one else is going to know, and no one else is going to know. But I can tell you this. I am a pure professional wrestler. And I am going to prove that I love, live, breathe, eat wrestling. And I don't care about anyone in the back. They're nothing. But I will prove that I am the professional wrestler. I don't know who that is. And to be honest, I don't want to know. I don't want to know who it is. I want to be surprised. Sooner or later, that person's mask is coming off. But let's hope that it's someone interesting. Now, if anyone says, oh no, I know who it is. It's a WWE reject. Stop. I'm going to make this clear. Stop. Who cares if he's from the WWE, Impact Wrestling, NWA, former NWA, or maybe current AEW that never made it or didn't work out? It doesn't matter. I don't care, and neither should you. Whoever it is, it's about making them look good, making a good story you can become engaged with and truly care about. That's all that should matter to you. Not about if they were former WWE people who've been around for a long time and never got anywhere. Who cares? All that matters is if they get booked properly and in their own mindset to understand they're starting over and try to be different. Try to want to be different. And not just getting a damn payday. Let's hope for that. Now, Camille. No, I don't think Camille for the last. Almost last. We got I don't know what to make of this. It's making me mixed up. Terrence Terrell versus Lady Frost. I don't know what to make of this. Terrence Terrell, why would they bring Frost in and make her get tricked by a mind game from Terrence Terrell? Now, mind you, because she got tricked and she thought they're not going to wrestle, she's trying to leave the ring and then Terrence just rolls her up. Yes, that's a stupid babyface move I don't agree with. But it's going to depend how they're going to build the story with Lady Frost. I'm curious. Because Terrence Terrell is no longer dealing with Melina. She's done because of what happened at the end of the show. But it's curious. Where they going? What's going on? Is it going to be good or not? I'm just saying. We had Austin Idol and Tyrus coming out, making it very clear that Tyrus can knock anybody out with a taped up hand instead of taped up fingers. Like Tyrus always said, when he gets his fingertips taped, it's on. Now his entire hand is taped due to the fact of the fake thing that was used to knock out the Pope in the first place. So that's what they kind of go with, even though it's not stated. Then this clever man who's in my face called Black G's comes out and says, "Hello, gentlemen. My name is Black G's, and I got a proposition for you. Can we go and talk?" Tyrus looks at him and said, "Yeah, come on, boss. Let's go. Don't want to talk with him." But he's making it very clear that I will be seeing you guys. And he says to Dave, "I'll see you soon." Do we have a new manager for NWA? I hope so. This is what I love. It's not because I'm old school. It can be new school, it can be old school. Having a manager helps any talent. It doesn't matter. And seeing that they have another person there that could be a new manager for somebody, maybe for Rosser, maybe for JTG, who knows? Maybe for the end. I don't care. As long as the guy can talk and put over those guys and maybe interfere in the ring once in a while, there you go. Hopefully. We don't know yet. This is the first time we're seeing them, and hopefully it'll work. Now, we got the End versus La Bellion. When you see the End, and you see this in my face, why did they... Odinson, I just don't agree with having to spray his face like that. Even if it's non-toxic, whatever it is, I just don't agree it's needed. He just needs to be who he is. He can have paint before he goes out and show his true Viking pedigree. That a true Viking will come out and destroy you. Ah! That's how you think. Now, this match was a double DQ because they refused to listen to the ref. They started fighting one another, and they kept fighting one another, and they kept fighting one another. They did wrestle, but they just kept fighting one another until the ref just threw it out. It's done, and the commentary team said it's probably a double DQ. It's just been thrown out. And then when the End knocks down the La Bellion, guess what? As they get out of the ring, El La Bellion attacks the End, and now they're just fighting one another. This is not very good booking. I'm sorry. Look, if there was a segment in the back, if they recorded one, and La Bellion got insulted by the End, I would say, okay. But there wasn't even an insult done. They just started fighting one another because the End was being more brutal than they should be. I just wanted a story that they could have recorded something in the back. I don't know why they don't do that, but they could have recorded something in the back and said, "Hey, get out of the way. You guys are nothing." That's what the End could have said. And they said, "Who do you think you are?" I said, "You know what? We're Vikings. And Vikings are better than damn rebellions." That could have worked. Even if it's very, very weak, at least it would be something. Now, maybe people will like just having them just brawl with one another, that one side got so brutal that the other side got pissed off about and they start fighting, and maybe you will like it. For me, they needed more. That's just me. You guys tell me below. The last segment of the night was the coronation of a Camille. Nice. Wasn't bad. Nick Aldis made it all about Camille. At least until Melina comes out mad, which I don't understand. Why is she mad? Shouldn't it be a... Why is it... Calm down. I can understand they needed something because Thunder Rosa's not there. She's gone to AEW because she's working both shows. But Melina, she comes out, she gets up into Camille's grill, and then Genocide comes out trying to stop her and said, get out of here, go. He said, I'm going to remember you, I'm going to remember you. Yeah, I know. And then Genocide raises a Camille's hand, showing that she shows her respect, and give her back one of her 2 bouquets. Not bouquets, bouquets. There you go. Bouquet. A bouquet. There you go. It looked good. There was nothing else after that interaction. And they closed the show, which I was all right with this. It's not like a WWE where there would be tons of women trying to mess with a Camille. It was simple, quick, to the point. Particularly, it only had an hour. And that's it. I could say this show gave you a lot of content. And you wonder where they're going to go in episode 31. Now, the most important thing. She's here. At the opening of NWA Power, you see Billy Corgan, Kyle Davis, and a Mickie James. And several things are said. One, Corgan can't talk. He's not good in front of the camera. He's just not. But he made it very clear in August they will be going somewhere. I can't remember where. The 28th, they will be having a pay-per-view. 29th, they're going to have another pay-per-view. The first pay-per-view is going to be an all-women's pay-per-view. The second one is going to be the 73rd anniversary show for NWA. For 73 years, NWA has been in existence. There you go. Now, the person who had to speak was a Mickie James, who made it very clear that she, when she came to NWA, is now an executive producer. Didn't I tell you that she was going to NWA? I said it before anyone else. Everyone's saying AEW. Everybody said, every motherfucking person said she's going to AEW. And I said she's most likely going to go to NWA and work with her husband. And look, now she's an executive producer of NWA. At least, supposedly, an executive producer. Or she could be. I don't know. But she's now working for NWA. And now Billy Corgan has given the option to produce the first women's pay-per-view of NWA. And she said she was proud. She said that she could have done something else and had some damn good matches, but she wanted to do something special. She was not given the opportunity, ergo WWE refused to do it. Didn't want to do another Evolution, particularly if the writing sucked. She feels honored that she's going to be allowed to be a part of it, and she's telling people, look, we want you to come. We don't care if you're signed to another company. We don't care if you got a contract. Come to our pay-per-view, and we will spotlight you. Come. Now, mind you, people from WWE is not going to come. Maybe Impact people will come. Maybe AEW people may come. Maybe MLW people may come. Maybe New Japan people. And maybe ROH. You never know. They may have people from All Japan Pro Wrestling. They may come from AAA. It counts in how many people are willing to come to that pay-per-view in August. But she made it very clear. She was so happy. One, now she's not under the thumb of people who don't want to care about women's wrestling. Look what's going on now in WWE. I got to bring them in. WWE, they're having 2 to 3 minute matches again. What are they doing with both their champions? Nothing. What are they doing with their tag belts? Nothing. What are they doing with their 2 sets? You got the regular tag belts on the main title, on the main shows, and then the NXT titles, which shouldn't exist in the first place. They should be one title across all of the shows, and there isn't. There are now 2 titles, and they don't feel very relevant. Mind you, the women are good on NXT, damn good. but the stories there are not 100% great. And on the main roster, there's almost no story whatsoever. So I don't know where Mickie James is going to go with this as a producer of NWA. Maybe she'll be part of creative and say, look, we need to do more. We need to show, in her own words, we are going to prove not only can women's wrestling and a pay-per-view make money, this isn't no damn cash grab. This is us showing that we're just as good as the men and we deserve the marquee just like the men. Now, mind you, and I'm going to say this from the bottom of my heart. I was raised by my mom. I was not raised by my father. My father acted like a piece of garbage. Mother wasn't perfect. She had issues, but she tried to raise me right. And I'm not saying I'm a guy, mama's boy. I'm not. At least not now. But I'm going to say this. As someone who was raised by his mother directly, I understand where they're coming from. When it comes down to it, the women's revolution, when they had done women's liberation, when Susan B. Anthony, back in the 1920s, well, before 1920, fought for women to gain the right to vote, because before 1920, no woman could vote. Women were always seen in America not very well. And they have to struggle. I'm not saying they haven't. They have struggled. But I want to make this very clear as a guy who wants to see women's wrestling just as good as men. It's going to depend on if the company is going to spotlight. WWE had this shot to try and really make something good when Twitter went on fire because of Paige and all the other women who did the evolution and revolution. But they fucked it up flat out. Then Impact Wrestling had a moment with Tessa Blanchard. They tried to make her into something, but instead of it making about not being a woman, look, I'm going to say this to anyone. It doesn't matter if you're mixed blood, if you're black, if you're white, if you're Spanish, if you're transgender, or if you're a woman. What this really comes down to is this, guys. Kind of dim. This is what it comes down to, guys. Everybody just wants to be treated the same. They don't care about being spotlighted. They don't care about being seen more than anyone else. They just want to blend into the background and be the same as everyone else. That is what Susan B. Anthony wanted. She wanted women to be equal to men so they could be just like men and blend into the background and have the same rights, privileges, and everything. Black people wanted the same damn thing during the civil rights movement. But just like the liberation, as well as the civil rights movement, it's been twisted so badly now that right now in sports, things are unbalanced. In entertainment, things are badly unbalanced. They're producing movies for women that the stories are horrid. And they put men in a bad light. Television series, the same thing. Very few television series are currently catered to good storytelling. And you know the reason why I brought this up? Women's wrestling. It's the same thing. In WWE, what did they do? They made this about giving divas a chance, and they transitioned away from divas to make it about women's wrestling. But Vince, Kevin Dunn, Bruce Pritchard didn't want to go there after a certain amount of time because they didn't see the profits they normally would see with men, so they tried to switch it back instead of trying to tweak it and make it better for storytelling. And they didn't. That's the reason why the women now are treated like shit, including my Naomi. Then you look at Impact Wrestling, the same damn thing. Tessa Blanchard should have never been depicted as a woman. She should have been depicted as a underdog only. Her orientation of her gender should have never been mentioned. Because once you go down that route, it becomes truly not only a trope, but a smack in the face to storytelling. It's not about not mentioning her gender. It's about hammering it over your head and making it so important that you know that this woman can whoop the ass of any man. And that's when Sami Callihan got a stick up his ass and made himself look like shit. And that's the reason why now I don't know what's going to happen with a Sami Callihan. I don't. I just don't. So now NWA is putting their foot into it. The question's going to be, this is important, we're in June. We got 2 months. If this is like a tournament thing, like the Mae Young Classic, there's no problem with that. Do a tournament and at the end have women gain a title. Or better yet, a trophy. Something that will spotlight women from other promotions, including NWA itself. But if you try to make it a regular pay-per-view where women have storylines that are not developed properly, you're going to have a major issue on your hands. Exactly the same thing. It's going to be rushed, and it will not mean what it means because they'll make it about women, not about wrestlers. And that's why it's going to go wrong. Sorry, it's getting a little bright. You got to understand, guys, if you really want women's wrestling to work, you have to make them no better than men. That means you don't talk about their gender much. It's rare to talk about their gender. You talk about what type of heel they are, what type of face they are, how good they are in the ring. Can they hold a promo? Can they talk? If it's going into women saying, I'm a woman and I'm better than that woman, why? I know men do it too. But in this situation, women doing it and then pushing it more than a few times will prove that it's about women. It's not about great wrestling. It's about just women wrestling and not thinking about that we as fans want real wrestling, real storytelling, really good mic skills, people who look good, like have a good physique, even if they're chubby or not, muscled out or not, no matter what sex they are. We want real wrestlers doing wrestling and having real good stories. But if they don't do it right, we're going to end up the same way the WWE is now, Impact Wrestling is now, because they're wrestling over there. What are they doing? I don't care what anyone says that they are going to bring in more women. Dana Purrazzo only had 2 women she could go up against. 2. You got Rachel Ellering and Taylor Wilde. You're not building either one of them for Slammiversary. They better. Because if they're going to do a storyline again with Rosemary, again with Havoc, which they are, it's going to be a pain in the ass. It's not going to mean anything. Because Dana Purrazzo's gone through everyone and their mother, and it's over. I want more for her. The women's knockouts division is weak and it sucks. But it doesn't mean I don't hate them. I don't. I love them. I know they're great talents there, but they deserve better than this. But this is just my point of view, and I hope you enjoyed the Zane's View. Please give me a comment below. Tell me how you feel about my rant. And have a good day. Have a good night.